second. Let me go ahead and start the timer here. Double check that we're recording. Good. Let's go ahead and start the timer. Hey, this is Steven from RC Engineering, and welcome back to my Rule of Thumb series. This time I've plugged in my mic, so it's going to be way better than last week. I'm going to try to use the mic rather than use the built-in mic inside of the tablet, because that guy makes a whole bunch of noise when I'm drawing on the screen, which I finally found my marker again, my pen. So today's Rule of Thumb series, we're going to talk about something that's come up a lot and stuff that I've been wanting to get into as well on some of my builds in the development series. And that is LiPo, lithium polymer batteries versus lithium-ion batteries. And we're going to talk about what each will be used for and basically the pros and cons of each. So first we're going to go a little bit into the Wikipedias on what lithium ions and lithium polymers are. So lithium ion, So a lithium ion is basically a rechargeable battery where we have a negative and positive electrode. I think that was a lithium polymer. The lithium polymer has a way better explanation. I really like it, so we're going to start with the lithium polymer. So it's basically a lithium ion, but it's a polymer based. So lithium ion and lithium polymer are two separate, different battery types, and we have a whole bunch of different battery types. Some of the battery types are more useful than others in this particular application, which most of our applications for RC are high discharge. We want a lot of power to be dissipated. But there are others, such as nickel metal hydride, which is a rechargeable type of battery, and one, I guess you could say, one of the more populars. And then you have electrolyte, other electrolyte batteries. What are they called? Like a standard AA battery. I forget what it is on top of my head. I know what it's called, but I forgot right now. But you have those types, lithium ion again, lithium polymer, and others. And basically the difference between those are the energy densities that they have and the voltage per cell that they have, and also the lowest that you could go on the cell without damaging the battery, which lithium ion has a big upside in that, and we'll talk about that shortly. And it's basically using a polymer electrolyte instead of a liquid one. High conductivity semi-solid gel polymers form this electrolyte. These batteries provide a higher specific energy than other lithium battery types and are being used in applications where weight is a critical feature, like tablet computers, blah, blah. Lithium-ion. Lithium-ion battery, basically lithium ions move from a blah, 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 use an intercalated lithium compound as one electrode material compared to the metallic lithium used in a non-rechargeable lithium battery. They are the most popular types of rechargeable batteries for portable electronics with a high energy density, tiny memory effect, and low self-discharge. LIBs are also growing in popularity for military, battery electric vehicles, and aerospace. So speaking of electric vehicles, one that uses them a lot is the Teslas. All the Teslas use lithium ions, use a giant array of lithium ion batteries in series and in parallel to get what they're looking to use it for. You see the cycle durability here with my pen right there, 400 to 1200 cycles. And here energy density of 250 to 693 watt hours per liter. Here we have energy density of 250 to 730 for lithium polymer batteries. So similar specific energy density, specific energy. So specific energy is watt hours per kilogram. So that's mainly what we're looking for. Liters is volume. That's for size of the battery. we're looking for per kilogram. So the specific energy, which is energy over weight. So this is energy capacity. So watt hours per kilogram is 100 to 265. This one is 100 to 264. So very, very close, but the price is drastically different and how they are used is drastically different. And also the development is drastically different because a lot of the development now is in lipos and lithium ions. Lithium ions are being developed a lot because of the car market, the rechargeable car or battery powered car market. So let's look at. We're not really going to go too much into how they are different. That might be in another video. But here it's basically talking about how a lithium ion is put together. Let me bring my pen up. Lithium cobalt oxide, lithium cobalt dioxide here, which offers high energy density, safety risks, especially when damaged. Or lithium iron phosphate. That's another one. LiPo. That's another type of battery. Lithium nickel manganese cobalt oxide. Here's different types. Handheld electronics, you also use LIBs based on lithium cobalt oxide. Lithium iron phosphate, lithium iron manganese. Yeah. So there have been battery-related recalls by some companies, including the 2016 Samsung Galaxy Note 7 recall for battery fires. So there are a bunch of different things that are way different, which I'm going to talk about in a second. So let's talk about the pros and the cons that I know of. For let's do lipos first. Lipos, pros: high discharge rate. So that is C rating. So lipos are built for extremely high discharge. So you want to fly fast. You want to fly big quads, fast quads. You're racing. You're probably going to want to go with a lipo. It has extremely high discharge rating. It's very good low sag on the voltage. I mean, they do sag, but the higher C rating, generally, the lower the sag of the voltage in the battery. And so they have very high discharge rating and a very high charge rating. They're also very flexible on size. So they could easily be made into multiple different sizes. Lithium ions are generally bought in cell sizes, so they're round and the diameter is different. So they're hard to find flat. They're hard to find in flat cells. So lipos are, you can find them in flat cells, you can find them in round cells, you can find them in square cells. So they're very easy to find flat and very easy to stack into either series or parallel. So usually very compact. I guess you could say geometrically shaped, meaning that they're usually either squares or rectangles when you stack the batteries. So if you have a 3-cell, 4-cell, stuff like that. Usually pretty safe to work with, to work / charge, because they're pretty stable, but they can only drop generally down to like 3.3 or so or lower. And then if you drop them down to lower than that multiple times, you'll get a memory. This is actually not really not a pro, but a con. Let's go ahead and go. Those are the basics of the pros. Cons: you can't drop them very low. Dropping voltage too low damages cells. I try not to hold it below 3.4 volt. Sure, when you're flying like a quadcopter and you have an OSD, you'll see it drop below like 2.8 or 2.7, but it'll pop back up at like 3.5. But I don't really generally bring it down lower than 3.5. they're damaged if left fully charged. And that could also cause you to lose planes. I call it a phantom charge, which is you charge your LiPo, you leave it charged for, let's say, a month and a half. You're like, okay, I remember I charge. You plug it in, and you plug it into a LiPo checker. The voltage is max, but you go and try to fly a high-powered plane or something that needs that power immediately in order to stay up, and it just is gone, right? You fly it up, voltage sags, you get like a minute, and then you crash out in the middle of the field. Because you're supposed to get 6 minutes out of that plane, but you only get 1 minute. So that's kind of annoying, the phantom charge. They tend not really to last that long, depending on the type of battery. Not too many cycles. And another pro is you can find them in high voltage chemistries, which is pretty nice. Which means, okay, another thing is this charges up to 4.2 volt, and LiHV charges up to 4.35 volt. Now, next one is Lithium-Ion. Extremely cheap. And then this is also high capacity. High capacity per weight, so density, right? Energy density. And a lot of research. A lot of research is going into that because of electric cars like Tesla or the Leaf or Volt or a whole bunch of other different ones. So a lot of research is going into there right now. For example, Tesla's new 2011 cell that's coming out here eventually. Yeah. So a lot of research. That's pretty much it. Easy to find, different sizes. And then this is the pros. Cons. Low discharge rating, which is C rating. Next is sometimes dangerous to work with, so difficult to charge. Next one is another thing is that the cells could go really low. Cell voltage really low. So those you could drop to like 2 something and not damage the cell. Can't remember exactly what it is, but it's a lot lower than a LiPo. Difficult to charge, low discharge, not geometrically shaped. So, for example, you would have round cells and you would stack them like that. So it's like kind of sort of a rectangle, I guess. Or it could be a triangle. So they're kind of weird. They're not pancakes. They're not just, 3 cells on top of each other. So that's kind of weird. Also, hard to tell. There's a lot of like snake oil in the market right now. They're saying that the capacity of the cell is way higher than it actually is, which is super annoying. And so yeah. Another thing also they use it in is they use a lot in vapes. So there's a lot of technology going into there right now because there's a lot of big dollar companies putting research into it. For example, quadcopters in that market, I mean, it's not a huge money market compared to electric cars. Alright, so let's do some actual, we'll just leave it at that, and we'll do some actual looking at some parts here. So I'm on a Hobby King's LiPo finder, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to this other website that I really like. It's called Titan, and they build lithium-ion battery packs for airsoft and flight. So we're going to look at some 3S cells. And we're going to, one second, this computer's actually, its capacity is really low, so on its battery, so I need to make sure that I'm not running too low. I'm fine. Okay, we're gonna look at some fast discharge fast discharge packs. So this is 2.6 amp hour, otherwise known as 2600 milliamp hour, and this is a 113 watt fast discharge, quote unquote fast discharge, for lithium ion. Technical data. So here theoretically they says 40% better than LiPo. This fast discharge packs uses 18650 cells. I think I don't know if they're Panasonic or whatnot, which means it could add 40% more flight time versus LiPo, as long as your current LiPo setup can fly 9+ minutes. Meaning this pack can, for the same weight, fly for 13 minutes versus a LiPo's 9 minutes. If this pack is discharged faster than 113 watts constant, less than 12 minutes, and is not actively cooled, it will overheat. So here you go, three cell count, so 3 in parallel series to three in series to get to the 11.1 volt configuration. 3 sets in series in parallel, making this triangular brick style, 3 inches by 1 inch height. Weight 158 grams, and here I really like this website because it gives you the cell type that's in there. It's got an XT60 voltage rating. It could go down to 7.5 volt. So what is that? I had my calculator here. Let me grab my calculator out of my backpack, which is right here. So as you can see, that my calculator's not in there. Uh-oh. Anyways, I'll just use my phone. Or I could use it on the screen here so you can see what I'm doing. That's actually a better idea. Let me get my feet back up here. Oops. So, computer's kind of laggy when I'm doing screen capture, but that's okay. So we have 7.4 divided by 3. So that means you could go down to 2.5 per cell and the battery be okay. So you go really, really low to where your quad will barely work and not be worried about killing the battery. So that's another positive thing. So you could go down to 2.5 volts per cell. Battery will not be damaged. Here we have a charging of 2.6 amps, which is extremely low, which is 1C. So it's got a 1C charge rating. And here you see we have a burst. Let me get my pen. Here we have a burst of 77 amps, 30C, 600 watt. And here's a charge, 2.6 amp. This is a 2.6 amp hour pack, so that's 1C charge rating. Burst of 77 amps at 30C, and full throttle 33 amps, 13C, 60 seconds, full throttle will get hot unless cooled. Constant 11 amp 4C, 113 watts. So let's go ahead and look at the main thing that we're going to be looking here, which is the weight. The weight is 158 grams. So LiPo, and then this is a 2.6 amp hour, and it is a 3S. And also, we're going to look at the charge rating, so 1C charge. And we're going to look at the continuous of 4C. And you see that 4C is because of the high discharge rating. It is, even at a high discharge rating, the constant is only 4C. Maximum constant discharge for up to 12 minutes. Okay, so Tiger, stop that. So let's go ahead and look at this is a lithium-ion, not a LiPo. So let's go ahead and look at a LiPo. So let's go to LiPo Finder on Hobby King. We're looking at a 3-cell, and we're looking at 2600 milliamp hours. Oops. change the battery's disconnected on my pen. We go ahead and flip that around. There it goes. Okay, 3-cell. My cat's over here just like staring at the wall. It's kind of weird. Okay, now let's go ahead and look at the weight. And let's see if we could beat that that weight of that lithium ion and still have comparable capacity. Okay, so here's a zippy compact, 2700 milliamp hour 3S for 207. So let's keep looking to see if we find anything closer. So here's a low discharge transmitter LiPo. So let's go ahead and look at that. It's probably going to be super low rating. This is a LiPo pack for a transmitter. So it's rated for very, very low. Max charge rating, discharge rating is 3C. So this would be similar to, but the max discharge rating is 3C, theoretically speaking. So, I mean, we could write this down for as one option. So this Rhino, they say for the, let me move this away from my cat. They say here unit weight right here 160. So 160. Let's go ahead and cross that out. LiPo. 160 grams, and this is a 2.620, 3S, and then this is a 3C discharge. And this is continuous. Alright, max charge rating and discharge rating C, okay. And it's rated for a 2C charge. 2C charge. Now you see here, the difference is we have a 160 and we have 148 and a 160. So right now let's go ahead and do that math. 148 divided by 160. I deleted my calculator app for some reason. So 148 divided by 160. That's so that's 7.5% longer. Of course, that is a very, very low rating, and the LiPo, the lithium ion, is even higher rating than that. So let's go ahead and see if we can find something else here. Something rated higher, the C rating. So here we go, 2620, 2650, 178. That's a 1C LiPo. Here's one that we would probably go with. Okay. This one is a zippy compact, which is an extremely light pack. So let's go ahead and look here. Unit weight, 163. Oh, this is a 2200. Why did it give me something so low? Oh, I think it's misquoted here. Let's see, charge pack. Oh yeah, 2200. It's 26. Do we have anything else like that? 190. Nope. So here's a 2620. 2500. See if they have anything bigger than that. Nope. 2650. Okay, so here's a 2500. It's another transmitter pack. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. Continuous discharge 3 to 5C. So I mean it's burst discharge NA. So it should be able to do. So here's another nickel cad. It's another type of chemistry, nickel cadmium. 2500, and this weight here is 156 grams for a 2500. So as you can see, with a low rating, so here's a 2500, 2.5, and then this is 156 grams. 56 grams. And it is rated for 3 to 5C discharge. So here, this is supposed to be, 148 divided by 160. And then 148 divided by 156. Is 5%. So you get theoretically 5% longer on the lithium ion. Okay, let's go ahead and go back. Let's look at another one. What else do we have here? Zippy compact, 2200. So let's look at one that's actually like a regular LiPo. So here we go, 2500 transmitter pack. Low discharge. 2200, 2200, 2700. So here's like a 2700 at the lightest. So here's like a Zippy compact, which is kind of as light as you get for these types of batteries here. You see 40C constant, 50C burst, but it showed that it had a rating of 40C. So the specs on this, here it says 235 unit weight for 270. 270 grams is a 207. Or 235, 235. It's 235. 235 grams for a LiPo, which is a 2.700. And then we have 40C. So the 148 divided by 235. That's 63 minus 1. That's 37% lighter. So that is pretty close to what they're stating here in the product description, the 40%. 30, here I got 37. So pretty close. But you can see the difference in the discharge rating. So, but you can get the LiPo. That's why this is kind of curious that maybe this is just actually not even a LiPo. It's actually a lithium ion. We have 28 minutes here. That's why these guys right here are looking almost like a lithium ion. The 1C transmitter pack. So you could even fly those on a, but you see here it's just like a JST connector, super small, low C rating thing, and then with some different JST stuff. It's different balance ports. JST XH, max discharge rating of 1C. So that's pretty interesting. So there you see where they get the 40% longer rating. Let's go ahead and go back. Let's look at some of their endurance ones for 3S. And so obviously this is the same thing, that the more cell count you get on these guys, the more exaggerated the capacity is different. So the more gains you're going to get if you have a lithium ion and it's bigger, right? Then the density is going to compound itself as it gets bigger. Here we have technical data. So this is going to be a 3.5. So let's go ahead and write this down. So here we're going to go lithium ion. So 3.5. And it is weight of 158 grams. So you see the difference between this one here and this one is only 10 grams for another, what is it? 2.6 divided by 3.5 equals minus 1 equals times 100. So that's a 25 increase, 25% increase with an increase of 10 grams. So the best way of getting, so as you can see, these are not built. And probably why it is because of that cell is a high. So here we have this, the NCR 18650GA. Yeah, so you can see it's a different 18650 cell. And this means 18 millimeters by 65, 18 millimeter diameter by 65 millimeter length. So you can see that the reason why that weight is so different is that these are high discharge. These are high discharge cells, so they're not set up for high density, right? While these guys, as you see here, 80% better than LiPo. So we're going to confirm if that is correct. But what we have to stay under is we have to be under a 2C instead of a 3C. So we have to be 4C. So now we're from 1. So now we're basically 2C here. So this is a 2C. So this would be really, really good for an airplane. Quadcopter, maybe not so much, but airplane, probably pretty good. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at some other comparators here, comparisons. So this is a 3.5, and we have 158 grams. Oops. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back. This is one of the last comparisons we're going to do. And while this page is loading, I'm going to let my cat out here. I'm going to try. I'm trapped in here with my chair. Alright. So now the page is loaded. Let's go ahead and look for a 3,500. 3,500. So let's go ahead and move this to a 3,500. Let's go ahead and search. Okay, so we only have a few to pick from. We have 3,600. Okay, which is 385 grams. Probably the best we're going to go with. So 385 grams. So there it is. LiPo XT60. 321 grams, and here it is in confirming 321 grams, constant discharge of 30C, peak discharge of 40C, pack weight 321 grams, slightly bigger at 3,600. So here's the lithium-ion, LiPo 3.6, and we're looking at 320 grams. Obviously with an extremely higher C rating, 10 times higher C rating at 30C to 40C, right? So let's go ahead and look at that. 158 divided by 320. 158 divided by 320. That's 50%. So that's 50.6%. So here it might be a little exaggerated on this guy here. 80%. Not so sure about that. But still, a $25 pack. Let's see compared money-wise. This guy's a $27 pack. So they're pretty much the same exact cost, but you get drastically more capacity per weight. So theoretically, you could get you could get another second pack. You could put a second pack in there, weigh the same exact amount, and get 7,000 flight time out of it. And then I'm just going to sort of downgrade this to 50 and say that this is actually at 3,600 milliamp hour. So you can put a second pack inside of this plane, or this plane or quadcopter. Obviously, with this low of C, you're going to have to do a lot of special stuff with a quad in order to get that to work. So for a plane, it's way easier that way than a quad. But you can put that guy in there and you could fly twice as long as you can with a lithium polymer. And maybe against some of these other guys that are not Turn-Gs or some other batteries, if you're not careful on what you use here and you don't compare the weights. For example, here's like a 360 for a 3300, or here you have a 380 for a 3300, so that's like really low. Here you have a 415 nanotech for 3300, really heavy, right? That guy you probably get 80%, right? But it's just high C rating. So generally, the lower the C rating of the LiPo, the lower the quality of cells, the less weight, the less of a structure you have inside. But it's pretty interesting that you could actually buy a transmitter pack and be able to possibly fly a transmitter pack in a plane for a small C discharge rating for long distance and get similar weight. Here it was 7%, 5% difference for high discharge. But at the low discharge, where you have the 3.6 at 2C, which is similar to what you have in this LiPo here, which is 160. You have not quite, definitely not double the capacity, but you have, you pretty much almost have, you have about 75 to 80% of the capacity for an increase in, for a decrease in actually 2 grams, and you get a similar discharge rating as 3 to 2C. So again, like I said, this is compounded when you, as you increase in cells, this difference is compounded over and over and over again. Yeah, so I just wanted to do this video talking about the difference between lithium ions and LiPos. This is just kind of a small video. It's almost 40 minutes, but it's definitely into your consideration. If you could keep your amp rating low in that C rating, you might be able to run lithium ion for the same price, run a lot longer. And most chargers now, most intelligent smart chargers will be able to charge those packs no problem, the lithium ions. Alright, so that's pretty much it for this video. This has been Steven from RC Engineering, and if you like the video, please subscribe for more videos like it. If you want to support my videos, check out the link in the description, my Patreon, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.